get into the NBA draft for our Cleveland Cavaliers, which is coming up here in less than 2 weeks. We're going to go over some prospects who have been rumored to them in some different mock drafts, and some guys that they've been rumored to be interested in. And maybe Joey has another guy or two that he likes. He's our big NBA guy. But we'll start off just kind of going over each one and our thoughts on each one. The first guy is a wing, which we all know the Cavs need desperately. Tristan da Silva out of Colorado. He's a 6'8" wing, averaged 16 points, shot at 40% from three last year. Scouting report on him: he's a good catch and shoot shooter, good passer, good perimeter defender. The one knock on him is he lacks explosive athleticism. But other than that, he seems like a pretty good fit. What's your guys' opinion on Tristan da Silva? Joey, we'll start with you.
I really like da Silva. He's actually 6'9", Kevin. Get your shit straight. But but he just like you said, he's a solid two-way player. He averaged 16 points in the regular season. I mean, he was one of those guys that he could pass, he could rebound, he could shoot, great on defense. If he's sitting there, for the Cavs at 20, it's going to be really hard for them not to pull the trigger on someone like that, because that kind of fits the mold of what they need. However, like you said, he doesn't have an explosive first step. But I think, does KD have an explosive first step? Not to compare Tristan da Silva to Kevin Durant, but I'm saying there's a lot of small forwards out there that don't have an explosive first step, but are extremely effective and can get to the rim. And I think that someone like da Silva, I think that over time, he is someone that can be a solid player in the league. But like I said, over time, and I just don't know how much time the Cavs have right now.
Clarence, how you feeling about Mr. da Silva?
Tools are there. Anybody that's talked to me on any BelieveLand Media show that we've done forever, I've been screaming for them to get a wing with athleticism. He doesn't seem to have the athleticism, but seems to have everything else. So he might be the best guy available, although I have seen some mock drafts where there's guys that I particularly would like to see slide down towards the Cavs. But for what we're looking for, I think he'll be all right. I guess that would be the nicest thing I could say. He's big, 6'9". He can shoot.
He's not awful.
No, he's not terrible. But I just feel like with you watch Boston and you see, with all the guys they have on the wings and their athleticism and their defensive ability, and we need somebody to match up with that. And that might be there at 20. We just don't know it. But I'm not sure if this guy's the answer. But if he's there, size is good. He can shoot.
You also guys, where was Jason? What pick was Jason Tatum?
3.
What pick was Jaylen Brown?
3.
There's your two wings that the Celtics
have. Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, they're high draft picks, and the Cavs are at 20. Although, and I don't mean to take up Derek's time, but real quick, drafts are deeper than they ever have been, especially in the last 10, 15 plus years. You can find guys. More guys have been found in the latter part of the drafts that have turned out to be either some superstar players or some really good players than ever before. But this draft, I feel, is, and I think it was I don't know who said it. I don't know if it was James maybe said this feels like an Anthony Bennett draft, and it's kind of you like Bradley Beal came out of that draft, but it kind of feels a little bit like that. Like there might be one good player early on, and you might get a solid rotation piece if you're lucky. So we'll see though.
I'm compared to the 2020 draft, but I'll let Derek go off.
Yeah, I think right now we're looking at it as the roster is currently constructed. So, that is the need now. The wing D, 3 and D type player, and Joey hit on it, and Clarence mentioned it. You're not getting a day one starter at pick 20. It's just not in the cards in the NBA. If you're going to pick a guy, it's going to be a rotation piece. How does he fit in with what you want to do? And right now, the Cavs roster's constructed as it is. One day it's, oh, everyone wants everyone back. The next day, oh, this guy's going to get traded. But as of right now, there's no head coach, so there's no telling what that head coach wants. Does he want two big guys? Does he want to run like a 3 guard offense or what? So right now, I mean, I looked at the list that Kevin supplied us pre-show, and De Silva is the one that I think fits as currently constructed. If you move DG, maybe that opens a hole for someone else. If you move Jared Allen, that opens a hole in the front court. But as currently constructed, I think De Silva would be the pick if he were available. Like Joey said, it'd be a very hard pass if he were sitting there at 20.
You mentioned if DG is moved, and if that possibility comes up, this next guy could be the pick. Carlton Carrington out of Pittsburgh. He's a guard, 6'3", averaged 14 points. Only shot 32% from three. He's still a work in progress from the outside. Good mid-range shooter, very good ball handler. He's comfortable off the dribble, able to create his own shot, and a good playmaker as well, running an offense. Negatives, like I said, his three-point shot is a work in progress. Doesn't attack the rim. He kind of relies on his jumper a little bit too often. And whoever heard this before, he's slender, needs to put on some weight. we have a few guys like that. Joey, what are your thoughts on Carrington?
I like him. A lot of energy. The knock on him is, and it probably would always be, is if we trade DG, he's not DG. He's not. I don't know if he's that same caliber type player that DG was. But you learn quick. If DG was to be traded, which I don't think he will be, but you never know. You're gonna learn very quickly under someone like Donovan Mitchell and whoever we trade DG for. So if DG's traded and Carrington did that, I think you almost have to go Carrington unless you get another point guard back in return in the trade. I think you would have to go Carrington. But I like him, solid player. I think that he would learn a lot and fast next to Donovan Mitchell. So I'm assuming if we trade DG, it's going to be for a small forward, so we wouldn't have to worry about that. So then you would have to worry about a point guard then. So unless they slid Mitchell over to point guard and Strus starts at the 2, and then whoever you traded DG for at 3. So who knows? But I like Carrington, and I think that he's someone that can maybe not replace, but do a good job and learn rather quickly if we needed a point guard.
Clarence, how you feeling?
One of the things that, just from what I've kind of read about him, some of the things that I'm reading, it almost sounds like some of the things that we struggle with DG. I read some reports on him saying not a good finisher, lacks balance, and seems afraid to finish around the rim. And it sounds a lot like the DG that we watched in the playoffs. But I've also read that he is a quick twitch athlete, fast sprinter, gets off the ground quickly. That's something I don't think DG does possess. So if DG is moved, and I disagree with Joey, I think his ass is gone. I don't care what the Cavs say. I would be all right with him. Again, we're looking at pick 20, so I feel like if any draft, this is going to be, like I was talking about, similar to the 2020 where Anthony Edwards was not the consensus number one pick. They were also looking at Wiseman and LaMelo, but nobody really knew what was going on.
I think Edwards was pretty much a consensus.
Nah, they were talking about drafting Wiseman, man. A lot of people were talking Wiseman and LaMelo as well.
I remember LaMelo, the case for LaMelo. I don't remember the case for Wiseman because they already had Cat.
Check your record, sir. Sorry.
Double D, how you feeling?
Kind of like Joey said, if you have DG, it kind of becomes a pick that wouldn't really give you much more. I mean, let's not forget we have Ty Jerome on the team. I mean,
yeah, forgotten man.
You said don't forget. We all forgot. And I like that. I like Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome, great person from Virginia. Played at Virginia. I got a chance to interview him at the Cavs Media Day. Really, really liked him as a person. Have no idea what happened to him. I don't even know if the Cavs said what happened to him.
The worst sprained ankle in history.
Yeah.
Season ending.
Broke his coccyx.
But I know a lot with the NBA goes kind of a positionless. Some teams kind of go that route, but how many 6'2" and 6'3" guards can you have? At some point you kind of have to go to that traditional look of a shooting guard being 6'5" or 6'6", not running 6'2" and 6'3" guys out there all game long.
Agreed.
Ty Jerome's a 6'5" point guard. Just putting that out
there. The next couple guys up on the list we got some big guys. These guys could be in play if Jared Allen has moved potentially.
Name them like together, so we can just group them together. Just so I can say no collectively.
All right, I'll run through them real quick. We got first Dookie Fluky, Kyle Filipakowski. He's a forward center, 6'10", averaged 16.8 last year, shot 35% from three. Positives on him: he's a good ball handler, a good defender, can score inside and out. Negatives: doesn't finish well at the rim, another one of those, and he's turnover prone.
So basically, he's Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dean Wade, not Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, I was going to say who?
Yeah.
I knew who he was.
No, I'm sorry. I was Dwayne Wade's on the brain because he's pushing for Chris Quinn.
And then we've also got Zach Edey out of Purdue, 7'3", averaged 25 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks per game last year. He's a good interior scorer, great touch at the rim, high basketball IQ, a good post defender, good size and strength down low. And his durability, he's only missed one game in his college career at Purdue. Negatively, he's poor defensively away from the basket. He's too slow. We get him away from the basket, he's lost. Lacks a perimeter game. I know that's something he was working on at the combine, shooting the 3-ball, and struggles in high tempo situations. Another fault of being as big as he is. And then my favorite of the big guys, Darren Holmes out of Dayton. He's a 6'10" high flyer, 20 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, shot almost 40% from three. So he's an inside-out big. Very good shot blocker, high basketball IQ. His three-point shots improved every year. I think it improved almost 13% from last year to this past season. Good on the pick and roll as well, which the Cavs like to run. Negatives: inexperience. He's still learning to play the game. Hasn't been playing the game very long, and he's also turnover prone. So there's 3 big guys for you. What are your thoughts on them?
I feel like you're trying to sell me on Holmes. Like there's a lot more deficiencies than what you said. I really feel like you were trying hard to sell me on Holmes. So basically, your choices are another Dean Wade. My favorite comparison for Edey has been Boban Marjanovic, which I think is probably the perfect comparison for him.
I think he's a little better than Boban.
Yeah, maybe. Let me just say this right now. I will not have any Bowman slander on this show. That is just sacrilegious.
I'm not putting him down. I'm just saying Edie's a little bit better than him.
No one's better than Bowman.
I don't know, man. I
don't know.
watched Zach Edey. I watched Zach Edey against UConn get bodied by their smaller guards, miss dunks, and airball a free throw, all within like a 5-minute game time span. That was it for me. I didn't need to see anything else. I do not want him anywhere close to my team. You're out. You can't, at that size, missing dunks is not an option. And airballing a free throw? Nah, bro. Nah, I can't get down with him ever. Out of the three, I would say Holmes, but I'll tell you right now, I want nothing with Kyle, and absolutely nothing with Zach Edey.
Holmes
got a
to me
laughing
is just
emoji, whatever that means.
Well, there's two things here. Holmes is just another just an undersized center to me. You know, he's 6'9", like 6'9/6'10". He's not a very big center. I mean, he was a center on Dayton. He's like, he's like an inch shorter than Obi Toppin, but Obi was, the small forward and a lot more athletic. And the second thing is, I don't know if you know this, but Bobin can actually walk on water. And he doesn't do it often, but that man is amazing. Yeah. So no
Joe trying to turn this into
the. I would try.
He's turning this into the Ty Jerome Bobin show.
I enjoyed his commercials with Tobias Harris.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would potentially trade Donovan Mitchell for Boban Marjanovic.
You won't do that.
Time to cut his feet, Kev.
Yeah, Clarence, please help. Pull us out of that.
No, there's just I have an issue with big, slow centers, big, slow players, and that's Filipowski and Edey. I got nothing for them. I don't want to see them on the Cavs. I would love to play against them. Like I said, watching Edey get bodied by UConn's guards was kind of shocking to me. I'm like, that dude's that big, and they're just getting to the rim how they want to. When they get inside, they're giving him a little shoulder check. He's backing up, and then, like I said, the missed dunks and the airball free throws. Like that's not a guy I want on my team. I get that, it was just one thing, and I know that he had a decent game, but a lot of his points he got were in garbage time during that game. So, and as far as Holmes, again, I like the fact that he can play a little bit of defense from everything that I've read. The high motor is what it is. I've seen several times, so I think we could use something like that. But where does he play? Like again, we're moving to the positionless basketball, which is cool. But I don't know where he would play at, I guess, for the Cavs.
I honestly, real quick, before Derek, again, I'm sorry. I agree. No, I just want to say, like, because I'm making a lot of jokes. Holmes, if we make no trades, I think you almost have to look at Holmes, because when we were down a big man last year, that we lost almost every game. Those were the games we lost, is when we were missing a big man, because Allen had big games without Mobley. Mobley had big games without Allen, but we just seem to be losing a lot of those games. And I think that you have to look for a backup there at some point if we're not making that trade. So it really comes down to, do we get a wing or do we get a backup big man? Sorry, Derek. Go ahead.
I know we don't have a head coach, but is John Lucas in the running? Because it's all about the bigs.
The bigs.
But yeah, we already have two bigs, and they say Mobley doesn't want to play center, and Allen. There's conflicting reports about what happened with him in the Boston series, but I think as the team's currently constructed, I know Joey made points to needing that backup center for injuries, but I think a wing is more needed if you're drafting based on need. Like Joey said, if De Silva's not there and Holmes is, maybe you do pick Holmes to add that security as that rotational big. I know they brought in Marcus Morris towards the end. They had Tristan, and then he got popped for PEDs and came back for the playoffs, but really wasn't, much more than just kind of a 5 minutes off the bench kind of guy. So I could see that, but yeah, I'm kind of in agreement when it comes to Filipowski and Edie, just those big white guys,
Why'd you gotta make it a racial thing, Derek?
It is
We're
what
not.
it is.
We're not talking.
I let him. I let him say it because I was going to say it. I let him say it.
We're not.
I'm just picking up what Clarence was putting down because he was getting ready to say it, and then he was like, unathletic.
We're not talking about. We're not talking about Caitlin Clark here.
It's got a high motor, Joey. Got a high motor.
Gym rat.
I take Caitlin Clark over Zach Edey. So I think someone that was mentioned, who I actually do like a lot, is Kaishan George from Miami.
Yeah, he was actually next on the list.
Yeah, I'm jumping in front of you. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Derek's used to it.
Yeah, Derek's used to it. You should be used to it now too. I mean, he's 6'7". He's a guard, small forward, but he's a small forward. He came off the bench from Miami, but he had solid stats everywhere. He's basically a Karis LeVert clone, just a little bit bigger. He needs to work on his defense a little bit, but besides that, a lot of people have said he might have the highest floor in the draft. So, I think that kind of says, okay, well, where does that leave his ceiling? So, that's kind of what everyone wants to know. But, that's the type of player who I look at and I go, that could be the next Jimmy Butler. That's his game. That's the type of game he plays, is that he can do a little bit of everything, and if he puts the work in with the right people, he'll be able to do a little bit of everything at a high level. So I don't think he's going to be there at 20, but if he is, he would probably be the one that I would take at 20.
Shout out, Pile Driver. What's up,
Pile
y'all?
Driver. What's up, Dean? What's up, Mike? What's up, Vince?
Piggybacking off of what Joey said, George seems to be the most versatile of kind of some of the guys. Roosters. All right. He seems to be versatile. I can't front. I'm not super familiar with Miami basketball, but how many guys do they have on that team that were better than him that he didn't start and didn't, that might be something that we need to look at. But as far as tools go, from everything that I've read and the little bit of highlights that I've seen and lowlights, it seems like he's a versatile player. He is that 6'7", 6'8" guy who can handle the ball. Maybe that could be our wing of the future. It's a possibility. I don't hate him, but again, I kind of agree with Joey. From everything I'm reading, I'm not sure he would be there at 20.
Derek, hurry up before Joey cuts you off again. Wait, before Derek starts. No. Go ahead,
Kind of goes back to De Silva, in looking. I know James said the only wings we're getting are at Roosters, and at least he picked the place that has probably the best wings out of the wing joints here, but I think that he would fill the need. Maybe not as big of a scorer, but maybe it was just not the opportunity with Miami. Like Clarence said, I would be lying if I said I watched much Miami basketball this past winter, but the 41% from 3-pointer, that's something that maybe he could build on, as he moves into the NBA and gets a little better at defense. Everyone on wings wants 3 and D. It started with Kawhi, and since then, I mean, PJ Tucker's still playing basketball because he's a 3 and D. Every year someone picks him up or trades him, or if you're the
Mm-hmm.
Clippers, you just hold on to him against his will. But that's a story for another day. But you know, there's a place for those types of players. So, if he can grow into that Jimmy Butler type, and you get him at 20 and he can kind of flourish with not being the number one guy on offense, he'd be like the third or fourth option. Maybe, make the open three. That's all we needed from Okoro, but it wasn't there all the time, and that's why we're sitting here talking about these guys.
Yeah, I mean he's a wing and he's one of the top shooters in the draft, and that's two things we need: wings and
Right.
shooters. So
Yep.
It's not a guy I'd be opposed to.
Well,
So
one
that
thing I
brings
want
us
to
to
get.
the.
Oh,
No,
sorry,
go ahead.
No, I don't got much time left. You guys,
All right, I was
wanna
just going
go
to say
on.
that brings us to the wild card, Mr. Ronnie James out of USC.
Oh, we gotta talk about that. Come on, bro.
All I'll say is not at 20. If they want to acquire a second round pick, take a flyer in the second round if he's there, sure, I'm all for that. But you can't waste the 20th pick.
If it guarantees us 2 years of LeBron, I'd do it.
That'd be the only way. I mean, he's not leaving LA. But the reports out there, I mean, he said originally he was going to work out for the Lakers and Phoenix only, but supposedly he added 2 teams, and the rumor is it's New York and Cleveland. So we'll see.
I'm coming home.
All right, before we let Joey go, coaching search still.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear your shenanigans. I want to talk about what I want to talk about. We're talking about Cavs.
No, we were going to continue. We're going to get into the coaching search.
You guys can talk about the coaching search without me. That's the least of my concern. I want to know who in their right mind, and this has got to be a smokescreen or BS, because there's rumors going around that the front office likes Herb Jones better than Brandon Ingram. I'm sorry. I like Herb Jones. I like Trey Murphy. I would take either of them along with Brandon Ingram. But Brandon Ingram is he's 6'8". He averaged like 22 or 23, 5 and 5, and 2 blocks and a steal. Like he does a little bit of everything. He can go off and have a monster night. I had this trade scenario. I just want to know yeses or nos. Ingram, or and this has been a lot of people have said this, and it's been a weird one for me to answer. DG and Jared Allen for Ingram, McCollum, and Herb Jones.
Yeah,
do that trade?
The thing is, I think what the Cavs are looking at is he's in the last year of his deal, and he's going to want a max contract, and you're going to be paying. You got DG on a max contract. You got Mitchell going to be putting on a max contract, and you're reportedly signing Mobley to a max contract this summer. So financially, can they make him fit signing Ingram long term as well?
Well, if you're getting rid of if you're getting rid of DG's contract, then you're just replacing one for the other.
Right. But reportedly, the Cavs aren't very high on Ingram, so again, a lot of the stuff is coming from Sam Amico. So, I mean,
reportedly,
you take that. I mean, I haven't heard any of the, the bigger guys saying any of this stuff. A lot of it's coming from Sam Amico. So, whatever his sources are, take that with a grain of salt.
I'm his source. I've been feeding him crap just so we can talk about it on the show.
I got booted out, but I would do that trade in a heartbeat only for just to get Herb Jones. We need that 3-and-D guy.
You like Herb Jones better than Brandon Ingram?
You know what? Honestly, I feel like Brandon Ingram is just a bigger Darius Garland. Relies on his jumper. He can do obviously he can do a few other things, but like he's not playing defense on anybody. He's got the length for sure, but he's not a prime or primo defender. So I'd be okay. I'd be okay with the trade. I'm not saying I like Herb Jones better than Brandon Ingram, but I would want Herb Jones in the deal. Absolutely.